Welcome to Oregon Voters Digest, the program that brings forward the social and political issues that are important to people living here in the Pacific Northwest. And now, your host, Bruce Broussard.
Again, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's 2022. Folks, we've got a lot of work to do. If, in fact, we're going to be bringing the City of Roses back. Things are happening a little bit. We sort of got somewhat excited in the closing of 2021 on the whole issue with the soccer team. Yeah. I mean, boy, I tell you, there was all kinds of activities downtown during that particular time. There was no rioting, there was no protesting, and this, that, and the other. People were visiting the different deals. It was kind of like a start, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. At the end of the year, and we had all sorts of records. We had all kinds of records, if you will, a record number of shootings and this and this and that, all of the negative aspect of it. But hey, we're now here in 2022, and we're going to be kicking this thing off from the standpoint of where do we go in a positive. We got elections that are going to be happening big time. We got all kinds of folks running for office. We've got the county and the city they're going to be huge. We got some of our local. We don't know who. We got a new congressional district. People are going to be working on. We're going to be doing that particular piece. We got the new governorship. We got a whole bunch of things. And so naturally, I thought I'd bring in Father Times with me. I thought I'd bring Father Time. Not only have that sickle over his back, if you will. I thought I'd bring the sack. I couldn't find one, but you I'm sure you recognize him because I've been knowing him for so long. I don't know what's going on. But I got Bob. Bob is here with us today, and by George, we're going to bring this thing in. We got a lot of work to do, Bob.
Oh, lots of work.
We got a lot of work to do. In fact, this last show that I did, the last show that I did for 2021, I brought a couple of people in, and in all due respect, Dan Bell, who has a lot of history. He has a lot of history, and if you hadn't been around him for quite some time, there's nowhere in the world you can get the history out of this guy within a 30-minute period or even an hour. It's going to take some time. So hopefully, Bob, between Bob and I, we're going to probably interview him and bring him on as a co-host sometimes, just to familiarize ourselves, because he's got history we don't have. Yeah, in many ways. Okay,
I've been knowing Dan since I'd say back in when Jesse Jackson ran.
Yeah, really.
When he went back and helped Jesse's son get elected.
Wow.
Dan and I, in passing, when I was chairing the Black Caucus of the Democratic Party,
right.
all of those things. But over time, we all began to kind of, I don't want to say, we slow down.
Right.
Age has a tendency to slow us all down.
Yes.
And so we get a chance to run into each other, see each other,
right,
reminisce over old times,
right,
and talk about the fact that we who are black are not as, I don't want to say as tight, but we have our opinion. I have my opinion. You have your opinion, and so that divides us instead of bringing us together. Hey, I know that's your opinion. This is mine, but that don't divide us.
Right.
That we still know that the fight is because we're black.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because of our political stance. I look at, it's kind of like I was talking to my wife this morning. I said it's kind of like slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Politics is kind of like slavery back in the day where you had the person that worked in the house. I ain't gonna call them what we used to call them.
Yep.
And then you had the field.
Right.
And they couldn't get together because one was eating the scraps off the table, the other was eating the scraps from the field. And so there was a divide there, but yet they knew one thing. Well, for a while, until the end of slavery, they knew that they were all black,
mm-hmm,
and they needed to kind of stick together, even though you couldn't just really stick together.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the same way in politics. You got a master here who is running people this way, and you got another one that's running people this way. The thing you have to realize is this master, and we now who consider ourselves free must begin to understand that we can make a decision not based on somebody else's
That's right.
opinion.
That's right.
You know, but based on the knowledge that we have obtained, and that we can use that knowledge. I mean, it's no way in the world that somebody can call me a name and tell me where I can go and then expect me to vote for them. You know, there's no way that someone can disrespect my family and disrespect my friends and disrespect someone who I'm looking at that looks like me,
Right.
and tell me, but you not like them. You know, it's things of this nature that we have to overcome. You know, I had a big discussion with a friend of mine who said to me, "Man, you know, we elect people and they don't do nothing for us." And so he really got upset with me because I asked him the question, "What do we do for ourselves?" I said, "We have an opportunity to elect a black person, and we go, I'm not voting for them because
Yep.
they ain't gonna win.
Yep.
So you go vote for the guy that wins that don't do nothing for you." I mean, it makes no sense to me. You know, and he got a little upset as he tried to explain why he voted for Trump. You know, and all my friends know how I feel about him. You know, he's the biggest. He's a devil's disciple. You know, and that's my attitude. I ain't gonna argue. I ain't gonna fight you over it. I ain't gonna stop liking you because you like it. You know, if you want to discuss it, we'll discuss it, and the discussion might get heated. But it's not going to get physical.
Right.
You
And
know,
that's okay.
And we're
That's
not
okay.
going to lose friendship.
No, that's
You know,
okay.
Because in the end, my question is, okay, your decision and my decision does what?
Yes. Yep. And at the same time, is that through these discussions, let's say an issue that you might have had, you had a different aspect of it, but you may be different. But then at the end of the day, that issue may be the issue that
One of
that's
us will
gonna
be enlightened.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah, I mean,
just by talking about it, we can become enlightened.
we've been doing that for quite some time.
Oh, man.
But at the same time, I think the rationale for that is that we do have some major commonality. We were both military.
That's right.
You got me? I take it you were the Air Force, right?
United States Air Force.
Yeah, and then I was in the Marine Corps, and you'd pick me up in that C-130. You know what I'm saying?
Had to
If
get
not
you out
that-
of Vietnam,
Oh, yes,
you know.
right. It's down there. I was sitting up there in Nam, and when Smokey came over, I slept good that night because he made sure he wiped out everything around our encampment aspect of it down there,
yeah.
up there in the name. But anyway, these are the kinds of things that we're going to be doing, as you note, and again for the benefit of the viewing artists. You know, when you think about the other thing that we're going to be focusing on is to make sure that the involvement of these patriotic Americans, I'm talking about military type folks,
Yes.
veterans. You know, in fact, it just saddens me that we don't have the draft anymore. So it saddens me because young folks don't have it, will not have had the opportunities that we have, because in all due respect, that is the base. And it's a diverse base aspect of it. You know, it's all picture America, the benefits of the melting pot, if you will. That is the melting pot, and we've lost that, and we're going to hopefully make sure that we put that back to the table. That's why we're wearing our covers, and you know, sure people you can be Republican, Independent. We've added 4 or 5 different parties of late, but the fact of the matter is we got to get back down to the same basic. And we want to make sure that you understand where we're coming from aspect of it. So
You know, it's one of the things that, and I'll make this real brief.
Go
and
on.
that is, you know, back in the '60s after I finished school, I was like, what am I going to do? I played basketball, and I tell my grandkids I was dumb as a box of rocks.
okay.
You know, and I wasn't dumb. I had a high IQ, over 120, but I didn't know how to use it. You know, streets of Chicago. My friends were not smart. You know, and they were doing things, and I had to be part of the group. You know, so one of my friends said something to me that I never forgot. They asked me what did I want to do one day, and I said, man, I don't care, whatever you guys decide. And he said, when are you going to start trying to be a leader instead of a follower? I never forgot it, and from that day forward,
You've been leading.
I've been trying.
I know you have.
You know, and so that's the thing. But the military saved me. IE. I was in college, and I was there just to play basketball, and got upset with the coach because I was the best on the team in JC, and he put two other guys in for all conference, all American, and I got mad and I went home and I didn't know what I didn't want to go back, and I joined the I went down to join the Air Force.
You sounded like me. Huh?
And I had a 2S, which means I was a student deferred, and so I couldn't, they weren't drafting me, and I had to fight to get everything changed.
Wow.
And went into the Air Force, and it was the best thing that ever happened.
Yep.
It made me grow up. I couldn't run anymore.
Yep.
And so the rest is history. We'll talk about it one day.
And I'll ditto it from the standpoint of the Marine Corps. That's exactly the same path I had.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a scholarship, the whole 9 yards, going to Texas Southern University up in Houston, Texas, aspect of it. And I said, Jesus, this is dead to me.
Yeah.
And I said, look, I'm going to be John Glenn. I'm going to the moon. I'm going to California. And I came up here, the school aspect of it. And again, no one reached out with me, holding my hands and telling me what to do with this IQ that I had. All this, that, and that. I gave it the scholarship and whatever. And but we had ROTC.
Yeah.
We had ROTC in high school. It was the first ROTC in the state of Texas for black folks. And I went all the way up. I knew my left foot from my right foot. I knew how to shoot. Got me? I knew how to lead because that's what they were doing. They were building, the ROT, Reserve Officer Training Corps, right? Leaders. But I didn't know what it was. I really didn't know what it was, but it was in me. And so as a result of that, California, next thing I looked around and said, what the heck? I'm going to the Marine Corps.
Yeah. And we went in doing a war.
They're doing the war. That's right.
And no concept for me. No
That's right.
concept.
That's right.
And when they said Da Nang, you're going to.
Hey, I tell you, it was something else. But like I said, today I really appreciate, just like you, I really appreciate the fact that I had that background, and I'd like to share that. That's why we do what we do, and we're trying to share this with, and hopefully we can get that draft back up. But it's not being no anti whatever. I mean, gee whiz, it's just like Danny made the point about the benefits, if you will, of the military. We're all warlikeers in this whole world, for that matter, aspect of it. And it's this country that's keeping everything together, the glue. And people tend to forget that. Got my point?
And they don't, they don't understand. One of the guys said, "Man, we got people in America that's starving. We got people in America that's homeless. We got people in America that can't find a job." I said, "Well, jobs are plentiful right now."
That's right.
I said, if you don't want to learn, and you don't have and you just want to be there,
right?
The government is taking care of some people.
That's right.
And we have to start thinking about what is it that we want to do.
Right.
What do we want?
Yep.
Instead of just waiting for somebody to tell us.
Yep.
We're not sheep.
That's right.
Well,
we've been doing that for years, Buddy Bob, and I want to thank you for being part of that old peace aspect of it. In fact, let's start it there. I'm thinking about DeFazio right off the bat, who's been around for quite some time. Well, you're talking about a hard hitter aspect of it. DeFazio, being chairman. Being chairman in many ways in the transportation arena aspect of it for years aspect of it, and he was part and parcel of putting this batch of money that's going to be coming out and dealing with the infrastructure that we have in this country, because we have been giving it out to other entities for a number of years, but now we got to build our own. And what an opportunity, if you will. Look at the jobs that are going to be developed as a result of that. And he made that statement in a lot of his statements of late, if you will, about, hey, every state in the union should be preparing themselves, if you will, for these jobs. And when you start thinking about young people that have nowhere to go, or they don't have or even many of the homeless folks who are sitting out there with this, that, and the other, what an opportunity, if you will, for a state of Oregon, for a state, or if not that, Portland and Multnomah County, because you've been there and I've been there. They had that whole affirmative action way back when about the transportation stuff, this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? Now's the opportunity to rebuild. We both have background in that arena, big time. And so the idea is that, hey, now's the opportunity to develop for those jobs, the apprenticeship program, but a true apprenticeship program, not an affirmative action program. I mean a true, we know the unions, we've been doing the trades. You understand? Yes. We're definitely not going down that way. But the fact of the matter is, DeFazio made it, and he made it very clear. He said the folks need to be, these states need to be preparing themselves to create these jobs.
Right.
Unions, get up and do what you have to do. Contractors, get up, do what you have to do. But we're going to be building this place. It's going to happen. Got me?
Right.
So it's not about waiting, if you will, for a check, a welfare check or whatever. It's about basically getting off your duff. But at the same time, those entities that are going to be responsible, because we know them, the folks who are going to be basically issuing out, signing the checks, we know them, and we're going to be talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be bringing them on this particular show. So that begins our show with reference to the politics. Okay, I mean, DeFazio, he's done his job, and then I saw an interview today of on Steve Dunn's show, where he interviewed the guy that took on. Who am I thinking about? The Republican congressman from Hood River. You know what I'm talking about?
God, I know.
But anyway, we at that point too.
Yeah.
Okay, but Walden, Greg Walden.
Greg.
Yeah, Greg Walden has since retired along that particular line.
Right.
And another gentleman was there, but he needs to come on the show because he's got some issues there that I need to talk about.
About the issues. You know, I tell people all the time, we're not here to defame you or
that's
to embarrass you.
right.
But we want you to come on and tell the people what it is that you think is good for them, and then listen to what they have to say.
Exactly.
You know, this is I don't know where or how it turned, where the cart is now pulling the horse.
It is exactly.
You know, we're the horse, ladies and gentlemen, and we elect them to do our bidding.
That's right.
Not for us to accept what they want us to accept.
That's right.
And so we have to stop not being a part of the solution.
That's right.
You know, and one of my friends told me, he said, "Man, I don't know what to do with my son. He's." I said, "Well, I know what my parents would have done with me." And they said, "If you think you're grown, get your own."
That's right. That's right.
You know, you can't live here and tell me what you're gonna do. You have to be here, and I'm the parent. Understand that our kids, kids today have been taking over the household.
Yeah.
You know, but then again, we got some parents that
we've been responsible enough that we've done that. We've let them down.
Yes.
We've literally let them down. And again, like you said, we need to get those masses back to the table.
That's it.
We definitely got to get them back to the table, and the timing is to do it now. The timing is right.
Yeah. Don't wait until someone else started.
Exactly.
You're talking to a friend. Get that friend to talk to another friend.
Exactly.
Bingo. You got a group. You got
That's right.
three. Hey, if you make the idea is not your idea, it's our idea.
Exactly.
And hey, if you want to, vote on it.
Right.
If two of you say yes and the third say no, hey, the third person should work to make sure that things work out right, because the majority of the group said yes.
Yeah.
Don't stand on the sideline and go, "Well, I didn't like that anyway."
Right.
You know,
right.
try to make it work. That's
Right.
what we got to get back
Right.
to.
Right.
You know,
right.
we've allowed certain politicians to divide us,
Yeah.
to separate us. We listen to the news every day, and I was listening. Matter of fact, today I was listening to one of the Republicans talking about President Biden and how the job situation, the inflation, and I'm going, wait a minute. He can say this on the air, but the truth of the matter is, the job situation was at 6.8. It's now down to 4.6. I think it is, and the employment, which was that's employment and job situation. More people was placed into jobs this year in the last 2 months. Over 2 million new jobs. What are you talking about? Inflation. I don't remember the last time the government said we're going to raise the price of bread. Hey, car manufacturers, raise your prices. This is a business world.
Yep. That's right. That's right. That's right.
So for you to get caught in that quagmire where you believe in the news that's telling you to vote that the president is at fault for this, it's downright idiotic.
Yeah.
Because he tried to help people during a pandemic who was losing their jobs to have Congress come in and get and say yes to money for these people. That shouldn't be forever. It's not a welfare. It's not a forever welfare. It's to get you out of a situation. Now we seem to be trying to get out of that situation. Get your butt back to work.
Okay. You know, on that note, let's begin there too, because we have a presidential election going right now.
Yeah, 3 years out.
Yeah, we got a presidential election right now, and we're still in the same election
From a year ago.
from a year ago.
Yeah.
You got my point, and so because people need to understand that it's a very serious deal. Both of these individuals, one of which, however, has basically set a precedence, then go through the normal process, if you will.
Right.
My point is that with the transition, the score is 1-0 or there's 5-2, whatever. There's a winner and then there's a loser.
Right.
But in all due respect, there are winners on both sides. My point is that it's the issues that matters. Is who represents the issues. That's where we need to focus. Who represents the issues? But unfortunately, we didn't get a smooth transition this last time around.
Right.
And just being straight up, let's talk about it. President Trump was a developer. You know, he went through a process with the Republican Party aspect of it, and in their caucuses, they selected him to be the representative for that entity. And the same thing on the Democratic side, the same situation. I'm talking for that particular race
Right.
that talks to current today. I mean, I could talk about Hillary deal because she went to her piece. That was another piece aspect.
Right.
But this one here is the one between Biden and Trump. That aspect of it, and so at the end of the day, we didn't have a transition. I really wish that we need to let the public understand what that was all about. The idea of not being able to transition like former President Obama did when he said, okay, fine. He might have disliked him or this, that, and the other, but he went through the normal transitioning aspect of it, of all the presidents. That's the first one that broke the chain. Broke the chain. And that's something that was American. I mean, the way we had this before aspect of it. And I think that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Now, he might have had, and I'm trying to, now the key is to try to find out the explanation, because the public wants to know, well, why did that happen?
Well, it's a simple explanation.
Go on, I'm going to throw
And
something
that-
out to you.
Okay, and that is, a businessman is not about nationality. They're about money. They're about where is the cheapest place for me to get my widgets built.
Yeah,
Where
that's
is
true.
the
Same line,
cheapest?
yeah.
Where is the best place
Yeah.
for me to make the most money?
Yeah.
And I don't care about people. I don't care about country. I don't care about the status. I just want what I want. And that was Donald Trump. You know, what we had running against him was a career politician that has been dealing with working for people and about people. Even on the Republican side, a lot of the people that was running had been career politicians worrying about people. But what Donald did was something that most people don't understand, and that's called, I'm the bully on this block. And ain't nobody and that's the way it's going to be. And if you don't like it, then I'm going to crucify you. And so everybody began to go, hey, this dude can take my job. And once they got to that point, he had won. That's plain and simple.
You know, Bob, along that particular line, and we're on the same lane. Things have changed. You know, as time goes, things change. I think that former President Obama was kind of the last of the Mohican, if you will, in terms of the old tradition. The last of the Mohican. In all due respect, if he had to spend another 4 years, I don't think he would have made it, if you understand what I mean, because things were so weird. It was just that I can still see him crying, sitting on his bench crying when it was announced that he won. Remember they interviewed him,
Yeah.
and he was saying that it was the young people that basically brought him over the deal. You got me? Remember that time he was crying aspect of it, and I'll never forget that. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden we got this new era.
Yeah.
We got this new era, and what I mean by that is that new era, and then I think about when the debates were going on with Trump aspect of it, with all of these educated, articulate, if you will, candidates. When I think about all these cats, that
And he's up there making a fool of everybody.
No, but my point is that he beat all those individuals. Now, my point. See, and folks don't understand. The fact of the matter is, he knew, as you say, he's a developer.
Right.
You know, I've been there. He's a developer. You got to do what you have to do to get that structure built. Okay,
Right.
you got me? And during that particular time, whether it be union negotiation or this, that, and the other, you get the building built. Okay? And then that's his mindset going in. Well, in that kind of a frame of mindset, you're by yourself.
Right.
I mean, you may come up with an organization with folks there laying around the table and all kinds of folks. But at the end of the day, if you don't get the development, guess what? You out of business. You out of home.
Send
the
the
whole
people
nine.
home.
Hey, yeah. But he's been in that business for developing. So I think he was a developer when he got in that deal, and he said, "Hey, I got to do what I have to do." But when he got in there, he also read the small print, because you almost have to read the small print,
Oh,
right?
all the time.
You got my point? He read the small print and said, okay, if I'm president of these United States, these are the things I get out of deal. I built my building. So he built his building. That's right there. But that definition of that presidency, there were perks that went with it. You get my point? And so he knew that.
You're right.
The other people that were running against him were running for the different reason.
Right.
They weren't developers. He in all due respect, that's what if you're going to deal in our era today, you have to have that kind of mentality just to survive. We're still not transitioning.
Right.
See, but so I guess I'm trying to I'm saying you take a negative, so to speak, and you say, okay, fine. To me, I've always maintained a negative is more positive than a positive. Because see, if you got a negative, you know you can work with something.
Right.
But if you don't, if you got the positive, oh, that's a little pretty baby, and everybody says, oh, that's an ugly little. Well, but anyway, you know what I'm saying. So I'm saying that's what I'm trying to. I'm saying how we can go forward, because we need to talk to issues.
Right.
Now, not the negative side, the issues. And when I look at the politicians, the so-called politicians today, hey, look, and I'm just being just straight up. Don't object. Just what are the issues?
Right.
Just always bring that up. What are the issues? Because I know where he's at, but I know where the issues here. I know we got all kind of homeless here.
Yeah.
I know that DeFazio, I might have had some issues with DeFazio, but DeFazio made it very clear. Hey, look here, there are jobs going to be coming up. I'm going to be getting Oregon this pot of money over here to create jobs.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing this. State of this. Don't be knocking DeFazio just because he might not have done this, the other. It's a whole new day. And this man is saying, look, I'm going to get out of the business. I'm talking about DeFazio.
Yeah.
I'm getting out the business now and give somebody an opportunity. But hey, I got everything at the table,
Yeah,
ready to go.
Hey,
Ready to go.
I done built the tracks.
That's right.
I done put the train on the
That's right.
tracks. All you got to do is hit the starter
That's
button.
right. That's right. And that's where saying I'm throwing this out to you. That's the attitude we want to go into 2022.
Well,
you got my point?
You know, it's like.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's kind of like you read today. I was online, on Facebook.
Yes.
And I asked the question: Who's going to replace Representative DeFazio?
Yes.
Who are the people running in District 6?
Yeah.
In Congressional District 6. What do you know about them? Who has who can you put in that seat that has the opportunity to hit the ground running? Not just because they are white or because they are black or Mexican or any other race out there.
Yeah.
But they know what it's about. They're not going to hit the ground and have to be led around and then end up doing things because somebody else wants them to.
That's right. That's right.
Somebody that has been in the trenches, that understand how things work on a national scene. We have people that are here in this state that understand that, but we, the people, don't know who they are or won't listen to them or have never had to deal with them, but think that because someone else said something about them, oh, Bruce, man, Bruce ain't gonna treat you right. And so now I'm supposed to go, man, I ain't gonna mess with Bruce. I mean, that is idiotic. We have to begin to say, I'm gonna find out for myself who these people are. And yes, it might take you a little time, but you know what? I'm going to pick this thing up off the floor and tell you, this thing right here will give you instant access to anybody in the world. You name a person and stick it in here, and you can get something on it.
You know, Bob,
including me.
and tell you what, now, on that particular, I'm glad you brought that point up, because we're looking for those people with that resume, right?
Right.
Got me? And in this particular case with DeFazio, as a congressperson, long as you got a registered signature in state of Oregon, you could run for that seat.
Well, you have to be in the district.
No, understand what I'm saying? You can run. You can run anywhere in the state for Congress. Got me?
Yeah.
If you win, you got to be there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? After the fact. I'm saying you can actually get in there and run for office and whatever. And the point I'm bringing up to, thinking about solution aspect, DeFazio said one thing. He said, look, I got the money, look like you just said, the infrastructure.
Right.
Hey, if you're a general contractor and you've been dealing in transportation and whatever, run for office. Because you know how, because you got the issue. The issue is the infrastructure.
Right.
If you don't have a resume with bridge building, whatever, how are you going to talk to the labor force and all this other district? Because we're right into labor force. We got to put people back to work. So if you've been doing any building, if you've been doing any bridge building, if you've done in road construction, or carpentry, or dealing with the trades and unions and all that other good stuff, I would suggest go down there to District Number 6, and you can run for office. I'm just throwing something out that way.
Right.
But if you're not and someone else is running right now, look, we don't need just politicians today. We need people with a resume, with knowledge, with a resume, have done it,
Right.
And then, like you just said, when you basically said, hey, all you have to do is just pull it up this way.
Right.
You can just basically call up the AGC, Associated General Contractors, and ask them to give you the list.
Right.
You can call the union hall and figure out the chairman of all of the labor, because that's the labor is the union aspect of it. You call them up and say, give me a listing of all the presidents of the unions. Got me? And find out one of those people could run for office. But my point is that, just like you're saying, we need leadership along that particular line.
Right.
I'm not interested in the personality aspect of it. Get down to the people of reacting to what DeFazio left on the table. That fair?
That's
You got me?
it.
You got me? And hopefully we can take that same application process and put it now in the definition of the presidential election.
Right. And don't make it a political issue.
No.
Make it a workers' issue.
It's
It's
workers.
about work. It's about jobs. It's about improvement of your state. And that's the thing that we have to understand. Just because you're a Republican, I'm a Democrat, or you're an independent and I'm a Republican, doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
That's a title.
It's a thing.
That's like somebody come at you and say, "Oh, I'm gonna make you president of Yin Yang." Okay, nobody know what Yin Yang is, but you come in and you go, "I'm the president." Okay, so what? What do you have to offer? And that's what we have to do. We have to ask those people running, what do you have to offer?
Okay.
What is it that you see that I'm missing? We have to define and get the questions together for these people early.
Yep.
And we have to understand that there's going to be, as there was snakes in the Garden of Eden.
Oh, hey.
It's going to be snakes in in this garden as well.
That's right. But like you said, we are so fortunate to have had a DeFazio. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was the guy that was calling the shots.
Yes.
He was the guy that dotted the I's and crossed the T's on all those dollar bills. He did that.
Right.
And he made sure that he brought a lot of that bacon, that extra bacon,
Back to Oregon.
back to Oregon.
Yeah.
Back in the old days, because I'm from the country, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you got to remember, I served on the board of directors of TriMet.
So
I know where some of the bones are buried, and I know who did what for whom and for when.
Yes.
And how.
Yes.
And so I remember one time that Representative DeFazio was trying to get, I think he did get the company to come to down in Southern Oregon rather than go across the river or somewhere to build their factory. You have to have some clout to make a company change their mind.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And we're going to miss him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, so when you get ready to put somebody in that seat, don't put some clown in there that's got a pretty face and some fancy words.
That's right. Because he has to fit that clown, whomever has to come onto this table too.
That's
If
it.
you want to, we're gonna talk about it, whether you're there or not.
That's
because because we've got interests, Oregon interests. We want to make sure those dollars that he set aside for that infrastructure gets done.
That's it.
It's not 50-50, it's 90-10. If you understand what I'm saying.
And it's not you sitting in the barber chair talking about it. It's not you sitting at home with a few family members talking about it. It's about you being vocal
Yeah.
and letting your congressperson, your senator, whomever, your county commissioners know.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, it's really funny because sometimes when I walk in a room with some of those people, they'll look at me and go, "Bob, how you doing? Anything they need to know about? Something going on?" Say, "Oh no, I just thought I'd stop in." You know, but you got to let them know, "Hey, I know where the door is.
Yep,
I know
yep,
how to get
yep,
here."
yep.
It won't hurt for a county when the county is meeting. If 6 or 7 people with no agenda whatsoever, but you're not them, and you're not always there, walk in.
Yeah, that's right.
Sit down and
That's
watch
right.
how the
That's right.
change
That's
takes
right.
place.
That's right. Well, in all due
That's all.
respect, I like what you said there because every 2 years I walk in.
Oh, don't remember when we walked
You know
in?
what I'm saying? No, I'm saying now we're putting that name on running for office.
Running for
You know what I
office.
mean?
If you
we
run,
walked
let
in.
me know.
You walked in.
I'll take
well,
care
well,
of
you've
things
always
here for
walked
you.
in. Well, you walked in. We've always walked in,
Oh, yeah.
like you said, in the deal aspect of it. But now these are serious times right now.
That's it.
These are very serious times. And in fact, let's just get right down to some other meat situation so we can talk about what's at the table. Again, here we got the largest city in the largest county in the state of Oregon sits right here in our area.
Right.
We got Multnomah County, and we've got the city of Portland, right there, and we got District Number 2,
Right.
if you will, that incorporates all of the city of Portland. We've just had the districtization, if you will, every 10 years. We just went through this. We got another congressional seat.
Right.
Got me? That's going to be taken off some of our dear friend locally, Congressman. His piece of parts is going to take a little bit more of Clackamas County.
Oh, taking out. God, I almost said the father.
Earl of Pearl.
Earl Blumenauer.
I say Earl. I'm sorry, but Earl. But in fact, maybe we might be able to get Earl to come and sit down and talk about this piece because, in all due respect, we got a population here that really needs a lot of those jobs. That's part of his deal, and he may be able to talk. He's gonna be here. He's not.
Maybe we can get Lou Fredericks to stop by
Lou
and let the people know what's going on.
That's a good point.
Because most of the people don't know where the district is.
Exactly.
And the first time I heard about it, it didn't encompass my area. Now it's encompassing some of mine. I want to know, am I going into that? Who knows? I might stick my name in
That's
that.
right. That's right. That's right. That's
But
right.
And really and truly, I'm not looking that way
Well,
because I was told by a very prominent person that the power is not in the chair, the power is behind the chair.
Okay. Well, that's why we're doing the
That's why
combination
we're
we're
here.
talking about. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. But it's going to be very important thinking about Multnomah County and the city of Portland, where all the action has been happening with the whole one you've been hearing about, whether it be on homelessness, whether it be on mental illness, whether it be on drugs, or whether it be this or that, protesting or whatever. It's right here in this particular area.
Right.
So this is a very important piece, and we need those jobs, the infrastructure. They're talking about infrastructure around this area quite a bit, if you will. And so there has to be set up, if you will, a job market kind of a situation, a pool of laborers and whatever. And so consequently, naturally, labor is going to be very important in this arena with all those trades and whatever.
Yeah.
What does that draw up now, right now, today? How are they reaching out? Making sure that they even deal at the institution, our criminal justice system. All those young people that got caught up in that drag and whatever, guess what? They need to go in there and get those people prepared so that they can get on these jobs, create some jobs.
I'll give you a perfect example. One of my sons, when he graduated from high school, and I told him, I said, man, if you're going to college, let me know so I can, I got you all the way through. Plain and simple. He said, Dad, give me a few weeks. Let me think about it. I said, okay. he came back to me. Now this is a young man. Came back to me and he said, Dad, you know, I feel like I had a hard time getting out of high school. I don't want to waste your money going to college. I was hurt.
Yep. But he told you.
Because education is the key, is the way I brought it up.
That's a fact.
And so I said, oh, okay, well, what are you going to do? He said, well, I'm going to find a job, and I'm going to, you know. The boy went out the next week, got a job.
I got you.
Been on that job all this time. And so the other day, we were talking because he's in the union.
Yes.
And we were talking because some of his mail still comes to my house.
Right.
And I said, how's everything going? He said, okay. Well, my wife used to work for this company as well. And she goes, you know that he's making over $35 an hour? And he's working at least 10 to 12 hours of overtime a week.
Wow.
Because it's the holidays.
Wow.
And I told him, I said, hey man, you want Dad to come over and help you carry the wheelbarrow with all the money in it? You know.
That's right.
But this is a kid that realized that he was not going to be, he didn't feel college was his answer. And so he blazed his own trail. I was there. You know, I was watching.
You were there. Oh, you were watching. Oh, you were watching.
But he blazed his own trail. And I'm happy to say that I'm very proud of him.
Yes,
I got the youngest one.
Yes.
He's blazing his trail now.
Yes.
And I'm watching him.
Yes.
You know, I'm that dad that I'm
Right.
not going to force
Right.
you to go my
Right.
way,
Right.
but I'm watching what
Right.
you do
Right.
because I'm there to protect you and
Right.
to help you.
Right.
You know, never stop being the dad.
Right.
And so I
That's
said,
the leadership you're talking about.
Okay.
Those elected. I know where you're going with the piece.
That's it.
In all due respect, those folks who are looking at wanting to basically run for office.
Yep.
And take that gavel. That same concept that you just shared is how they should be looking at the people across the board.
Right.
Because that's why they get elected. It ain't about a personality thing or this, that, and the other.
Can you do the job?
Can you do the job? And that's what we need,
Right.
if you will. And that's a very important piece.
And so my thing to the Democratic Party, I know some of the rules of the party that you don't get in the election until after the primary and all of that. But I'm telling you, somehow or another, you get as individuals, you got to work for someone that you know can do the job. That you're not doing it under the Democratic Party shield.
Right.
You're doing it as an individual,
Right.
and if enough of you individuals are with that person, people will get to understand that this is a person that people think will do it, can do it. But we're also going to ask them some hard questions.
Yes, that's right.
You know, it's not going to be your friendship.
That's right.
It's not going to be your neighbor. Not going to be your family member. It's going to be someone that can do the job. We have caucuses in the Democratic Party. We have the senior caucus, the motorcycle caucus, the black caucus. You know, other caucuses there. These people got to come together and let people know what's going on.
Are they doing that today?
I haven't heard a word, and I used to chair the caucus.
Okay.
I was there when all these caucuses was put together, and I haven't heard a word. So I'm saying, this is the drums beating.
Right. These are venues,
You know,
right.
to let them know, hey, we're watching.
We're sharing it.
Yeah.
And the same thing with these folks, the
That's
media.
it. Oh.
The media. We've got to give them. I'd like to see something that's done on. Excuse me. They can do it maybe on a bi-monthly basis aspect of it, where they get together, even if that's the Coliseum, the one that they've just opened it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let the people know.
And let the people know, and have those political gatherings, if you will, to meet the candidates and whatever, but to meet the issues.
Right.
The idea is to come and meet the issues, and then you bring the candidates to the table, right?
Right.
Once they've evaluated whether or not their resume relates. You don't want to embarrass these folks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Look here, these are the issues. Now,
how do you see, not where do you stand, I don't care where you stand.
That's right, exactly.
How do you see these issues being resolved?
That's right, and you accomplishing that.
That's right.
And then you could be the leading folks along that particular line, and you're not going to do it with just plain old sweet talk.
And you can't come to me and go, well, I don't have enough votes.
No.
Show me how you working, how you going to work to be successful.
Yeah.
You know, I played that game of, well, we don't have the votes, so that ain't gonna work. Come to me and tell me during the election time what you're gonna do, and then after the election, well, I don't have enough support.
Well, we don't have the luxury anymore.
Yeah.
See, at one point in time, you could do that. You know what I'm saying? But we were still moving because we had things on the table that had yet to be done.
Right.
Right? And the money's running. Now the kids that we got a problem in our country. Our infrastructure is broken compared to the rest of them. You look at China. I mean, we like you said, you can Google this stuff.
Yeah.
You can Google it anywhere in this country. You start looking at what they have, and we're the one that built it.
Right.
We developed all that stuff. We've sent all that expertise over there aspect of it. You got me?
Yeah.
And here we sitting. And we got folks that are, we can't cry this business about, well, gee whiz, you got all of these folks that are illegal and this, that, and the other. But let me tell you how hard they work. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have policy here. Sure, it really upsets me at times. I look at some. In fact, look at the media right now on TV. You look at all of the minorities that are basically handling the mic, and then they're co-anchors and this, that, and the other. And the first thing I think about the young lady that was illegal. Comes here, she goes to school. She goes to school, can't even speak English.
Right.
Can't even speak English. And then 12 years later, she's sitting up there holding a mic, and better than the other anchor that's sitting there. You know what I'm talking about?
I remember that.
You got Channel 6, you got 8. I'm looking at this stuff, and I say, wow. You can't think about the fact, well, gee whiz, and then you've got your kids. In some cases, your kids are sitting up there going through the criminal justice system and can't even get a job. This, that, and the other. So hey, we got to act now. We got to act now.
Right. We don't have the luxury.
We don't. We got to do the job.
Discarding people.
We don't. In fact, on that particular note, then let's jump locally. We got about another good 10 minutes. We're gonna be talking about a lot of this stuff aspect of it. But let's talk about the representatives that we have here in the county and the city of Portland aspect of it. The city of Portland is a little bit more volatile than the county aspect of it. And then you look at the makeup, and we just get right up. We get the makeup of the city hall, and we've been seeing all of the this, that, and the other. But where do we go from here? We got a new process now. This is 2022. We've got two sitting commissioners. Their seats are going to be up for grab.
Right.
Okay, you got me. And then on the county side, we've got the chair. They've termed it out. That's Deborah Kafori. She's termed it out. So we got the chair position, and we got one of the seats, District Number 2, the largest district in the county, if you will, and so she's going to be up for election. So we got issues here.
Yeah, and the question has to be: just because you think you can run for the office. Somebody's got to ask them the question of what do you see yourself doing for the people in the county?
Right.
That's number one.
Right.
Number two, there's a record as far as the person that's running for, if they're running for their seat again.
Right.
Look at their record and say, what did they do when they were in there this time?
Right.
Other than follow somebody else.
That's right.
These are positions of leadership.
That's right. I mean, huge leadership.
And if they're not leaders, get out of the way.
And you brought the issue up because when I noticed that here's Deborah Kafori. She's been carrying all of the water.
Yeah.
Right up front with. She's been carrying all of the water for the county. Okay, you got me? Now we've got a situation where she's the only one. Now she's getting ready to leave. 3 of the commissioners sitting there, 3 of the other 4 are running for the chair.
Yeah.
Well, and they're guaranteeing their seat. What's that all about? You get my point?
And they don't lose their seat.
They don't lose their seats. And then I look at their track record in terms of what have they done while they were sitting there. They've done nothing. Deborah's been carrying the whole deal. Got me? So I'm not. These are, in all due respect, I called up District Number 2 because that's the largest district, and there's many issues in District Number 2. You got me? There's mental illness, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't see that person sitting on the table, sitting out there, getting out there, going in and visiting the camps and things of that nature. And so I called the office. They didn't want to answer the phone.
Yeah.
I got one of the secretaries, and the secretary got excited about it, and they said, "Okay, fine, I'll put you on the schedule," and put me on the schedule. And the next thing I knew, I get another call from the county, from the District Number 2. What's the name? But anyway,
Yeah.
And she'd even given me her phone number, a cell number. And I didn't call her cell, but she said to me, "Well, Mr. Broussard, I'm sorry, I won't be able to do this." And she gave it to me, the chief of staff, and got upset with the young lady giving me the phone number. I said, "Hey, man, she works for me.
Yeah.
I'm the public."
They forget. Once they get elected, they forget why they are there.
It's ridiculous. And so all I did, I said, "Look, I'm not going to share the personal cell number."
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, I called up and I said, "Well, look, I just left a note. I said, hey, look, how you doing?" I already knew her. So I'm just saying, I just want to share with her, find out what you're going to be doing in District Number 2. You're running. Come on the show.
Right.
Well, I had a chief of staff calls me up and said, well, what do you want to do? No. I called her up. I was just going to have a nice cup of coffee with her and just talk in general about this, that, and the other.
Because some people, just because they have a position, is not the people you want sitting in this chair.
Hey.
Because they're not able to express themselves, to explain themselves, and you notice them, they're sitting in the county in the committee or in that seat during the meeting, and they're quiet, and they don't say anything, but they can piggyback on something you say.
That's right. That's right.
They don't
that's
have.
right. That's
I
right.
mean,
That's right.
so you need to go to some of these meetings and watch these people,
That's right.
and
That's right.
you'll
That's right.
begin to
That's
see
right.
the
That's
things
right.
that we're
That's
talking
right.
about.
That's
We're not trying to degrade anyone,
no,
but some
no.
people just don't deserve to be there.
We don't have the luxury to sit back and wait and allow this to continue to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Hey, time's short.
Oh, so okay, that's the county.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a problem there.
The city.
Now I do know that, and you know who I'm talking about, Serena Cruz. Remember Serena?
Yeah.
Okay, Serena used to be one of those commissioners, right? Well, she's back at the county.
And is she going to run?
She's CEO. I think she's going to run.
Oh.
I really think she's going to run. I think that's the prep. That was the whole idea. Well, it's been a woman's group for quite some time lately.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, it has to be the most qualified person.
Right.
And I'm looking for resumes. Now, naturally, Serena Cruz, right? She was married to one of the Walshes. Well, the guy was in construction,
Right.
so she got some background there. Where I don't know whether or not she was actually a laborer or something like
No.
that, or administrative on that line. But anyway, hi, Serena. And I say, maybe one of these days you can come over here on the table.
Yeah.
Once you file the run for office, okay? And I really think, in all due respect, I think about Deborah. Deborah was asked in a deal whether or not she was going to endorse one of those three commissioners.
Non-committal.
She was non-committal aspect of it, and I'm predicting that she's going to run for Congress for the new seat that's coming up.
District 6.
Oh, I think she's going to run for District 6, and then I think that Serena's going to come in as chair. Now that's just my, based on what I'm seeing.
Then the question becomes, what does Deborah have that pushes her ahead of everyone else, other than name recognition? What can she get done for you in this?
Well, she was involved with the county. She was carrying all the water.
Yeah.
She was chairing the deals and making the decisions.
Yeah.
So
but this is see.
I'm agreeing with.
It's one of
you.
those things like leaving high school, playing basketball, and going to college playing basketball.
Okay.
Number one, when you're in high school, you might be the king of the walk.
Right.
When you get to college, all the kings from all those other walks are there.
Yeah.
Well,
then there's another proponent, but that'll be a good race now. I mean, then you got Loretta, who's probably the only name that's recognizable, that she is basically saying, I'm going to be running for that particular seat, which will be a good seat. She's filed.
Yeah.
And then she does have background because she spent quite a bit of time in the action with Senator Wyden,
Representative Wyden and Senator Wyden.
Right. So I mean, she's had that.
Yes.
I mean, I wish Ron had given her a little bit more of a position, maybe chief of staff or something, to expand it, but he didn't do that. And I'll be straight up with it.
That's water under the bridge.
That's water under the bridge. But I'm still saying, but she would be a good. It would be a good run.
That's
it would be a good run between two people.
6 people that's running in for District 6 already.
Yes, right. Oh, it's going to be more than that.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say about 15 or so. People from out of the area are going to be coming and running for that particular seat, see?
Right.
And then it'd be interesting to ask the question of Earl. Well, Earl, who would you endorse?
You're right.
Okay, got me? So that's going to be an interesting piece. Now, let's jump to the city real quick. We only have about 4 minutes here,
Okay.
but we're going to be coming back this next time around. But we just want to kind of give the folks the lay of the land of what are we going to be doing, and we're going to be just getting right down to the meat. We're not going to we're not going to throw anything under the bus. We're just going to be right up front. Now, the city of Portland. Now, the president, Mayor Wheeler, he has his 3 votes.
Yeah.
Yes, he got himself, and in all due respect, he got Mingus, and he's got Dan. You know, just straight up. You know, and so consequently, Dan is running. Dan is running, and Joanne is running.
Right.
And then Joanne, you know, a couple of things. Mingus made the point about there are 5 mayors. So that means to me, when he said that 5 mayors, that means each one of them have a police commissioner. You know what I mean? So each one of them can do their own thing. I'm trying to justify why Joanne is trying to basically spending more time on the police department. So she's got every right. She's a mayor too. She's a mayor. She's a mayor, and so that's interesting. And then because I was trying to figure out what the deal is, so she's running. Right. And she's running a heavy race, and I do notice that the bureaus that she's gotten. I see her on the street with those bureaus because she had transportation. Yeah. But the others I don't see. Right. I do see Dan out there doing his thing. I see Mingus. Now, what's the other? The Hispanic woman that's sitting there. Is my understanding she's got garbage, but that's a whole different ball game. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be interesting. But the fact of the matter is, those are the players. Now Wheeler is just basically sitting in the background. I mean, did you notice that interview that they did the other day in regards to about the police, about the money, because he's got the money,
right?
And he's throwing that he want 300 former policemen, and then Joanne makes the point. Well, no, it's 25, it's 50. She's talking about 50 of them. Well, she got a right to make the statement.
Right.
She made a statement about that, and she talked about that. He wasn't interviewed. He should have been interviewed. As far as I'm concerned, you got 300 people that just retired, and you're going to sit up there and talk about what they did in the past. I remember, you know what I'm saying? They went through the process, and they're there. We need 300 cops yesterday. If you hear what I'm saying, you got my point. Well, talk about it.
Well, the thing that happens is everybody wants to have an opinion, but nobody want to work the program.
That's right.
So that's the city of Portland.
That's right.
You know, it's shameful that you have people in there that want to talk it but don't want to walk it.
Yeah, right. Well, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to see. Maybe our next guest might be Mingus Maps, because Mingus, who made the statement, and the guy he's out there. I mean, he doesn't have that resume background, but he throws the issues on the table, and he talks to a solution, and I think that's good. That's good. And so he's there, he's available, and actually folks are out there looking on the other side that we're competing blacks against, but no, it's the issues that we're talking about. Joanne can have 50 blacks running against her. As far as I'm concerned, it's about the issue, and I think she recognized just that. So let's take care of some business, because she's the only police commissioner that I know that's talking about police.
Right.
The others are not.
And what gets me is the police are afraid of her in a sense because she makes you hold your feet to the fire. She will hold your feet to the fire over the issues that are out there.
Well, the one thing she's doing, she's putting the stuff right out there on the front of right up front for everybody. So that's good.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully we're going to get her here too, because we're going to keep her on the fire. Find out what she's going to do. You said 50, but we need about another 250. Yeah. What you going to do about that part and the recruiter?
And what do you expect of them?
Look like we're at that point, right, guys? In the studio. Okay, we're in the studio. Okay, fine. We got about 5 seconds.
Oh, hey, everybody, get involved.
Happy New Year.
Hey, same to you, man.
Okay, buddy, sounds good.
Buy Norma a lot for Christmas.
All right, folks, take care. Have a good one. We'll see you in 2022. Take care. Have a good one. Bye. Let's see, right on time. I'm looking at